Hello, this is Ralph Cantafio. I'd like to spend a little time talking about your EV home charger, EV for electric vehicle. A lot of people have questions about how the mechanics of an EV vehicle works. One of the things that people tend not to know a lot about that I'd like to discuss today is just basically how do I go about charging my car? Unlike a combustion engine where we're very familiar, you go to the gas station, you pull in, maybe takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes of going to the convenience store and you're out the door. The dynamics of a EV charger are a lot different. In fact, one of the constraints is many individuals, they don't really understand a whole lot about it. And moreover, if they don't have an EV charger at home, they're really not interested in purchasing an EV vehicle. So I'd like to explain a little bit about what we're doing. All right, goals. So what I'd like you to understand as a result of this presentation is the different EV charging levels and what this might mean. Now, again, the biggest difference between an EV and a combustion engine is the process of charging is much, much longer. Now, over the course of time, that may change. And one of the questions people tend to ask is, well, once it's charged, how long will it last? How far can I go? And the answer is going to be, it depends on your vehicle. But what I would like to talk about is, what you're really going to need to understand when you buy an EV vehicle as to what you need to do to charge the darn thing so that you can do it. Especially in a world where many people, until they have an EV charger, either at home or at their facility, say they live in a condo or an apartment, they have access to that. So let's talk about this. 3 different levels. Level 1, very slow. You can think of it as the cord that goes to your vacuum cleaner, the cord you have around your house. It can take an extended time to charge your car. There is a level 2, which is much faster. You can think of it as the type of electricity you use for the 220 volt for your washing machine. Much better. But still overnight, not 5-10 minutes like at the gas station. And there's something called direct current, very, very fast, but probably not very applicable to a residential unit, at least right now. So let's dive in just a little deeper. Now, how many miles per time charge? Answer, well, it depends on your vehicle. So you have to know what you're talking about there. You also have to know about time of year. I mean, actually, the consumption of electricity is different in the colder part of the winter than in the summer. It just has to do with chemical reactions and how temperature impacts those things. So again, make sure if you're going to buy an EV, you discuss these things before buying it. Okay, what is level 1? Well, level 1 is that basic, your phone charger, your TV, sticking into the wall. Tesla, by the way, has its own proprietary product. So for them, you're going to have to be looking at something a little bit different. Tesla will tell you. But generally, this is, putting the plug in the wall. Well, how long is that going to take? Well, it is incredibly slow. And you can see some of the basic physics here. But for a full charge, you're looking at 50 hours, 4 days. And for most people, that's just not going to be very workable. You can't, you would never see yourself waiting at a gas station for even an hour to fill up. For 4 days, it's just completely unworkable. So level 1 tends to be somewhat problematic. In fact, probably will take you out of the game. And, again, for smaller batteries, it can be 9 to 12 hours, but for your basic units, it's going to be a long time. So let's talk about level 2, because that's where the action is. Level 2 charging station, you'll find these in public areas, uses a 240 volt. Again, that's that 3-prong you see, at the back of your washing machine. So what does that mean? Well, generally, if you're going to be installing a level 2 charger, and again, price is going to depend upon who you hire, a lot of different ways to do it. A lot of people anymore are working their EV charger into their solar system. So these are things that you need to think about and are slightly outside of what I'm discussing today. But your level 2 charger, you're going to have to get an electrician. Not a big deal, by the way, shouldn't be terribly expensive, hundreds, not thousands of dollars. And now you have the level 2 charger. However, there's more. You need to wait a second. So first of all, the ability to charge is going to be determined by 2 things. First of all, the maximum output of the charger and the maximum ability of your EV to accept the charge. So, as I say here, level 2 starts at 3.3 kilowatts and can be as high as 19.2. That sounds pretty good. But as I put in this example, if your EV can only accept at 6.6 kilowatts per hour, right, then plugging it into an 11 kilowatt or anything more than 6.6 doesn't make your car charge faster. So you have to know two things. You have to know what is the speed at which your EV charger can produce electricity, and also what is your vehicle's onboard electrical, as some call it, architecture to accept it. So you have to know both of these things. Now, generally speaking, again, very generally speaking, it's going to take about 8 to 10 hours. So you can do it pretty much overnight. The example I give for a 2022 Chevy Volt, pretty middle of the line for these things, would take about 10 hours. All right, so it's the type of thing you can get at home, plug it in when you get back from work, put it in, say, 6:30, wake up in the morning, you have a full charge. So, much more workable. Okay, what's level 3? Well, level 3 is the ultra fast charging. All right. You need to understand that according to the Society of Automotive Engineers, there is no such thing. All right, we talk about level 3, some people call it DC fast charging, DC for direct current, but you can call it anything you want. What does it really mean? Well, it uses 3-phase power. That's good, but it's extremely fast. All right, it can go up to 350 kilowatt per hour. But again, if you have a car that can accept electricity at only 6.6 kilowatts, then it doesn't really do you any good. So, it is the classic drinking from the fire hose. It doesn't work. So again, you're going to be limited, just like in the level 2, by the charger output and the kilowatt receiving rate. I think that's pretty straightforward. Most EVs, by the way, can only accept a rate of maximum 55 kilowatts. So, you get to that 350 kilowatts, you're way over the limit. However, over the course of time, we think all these things are going to improve. The other thing with your DC fast charging, a lot of heat. So you're typically told don't charge to 100%, maybe 80, maybe 90%. Now, the good news is you may be able to recharge in as little as 30 minutes, which sounds great. But remember, if you went to the gas station and it took a half hour to fill your tank, you would be outraged. So it's a very, very different item. And again, remember too, if you don't have an in-home charger, it does raise other issues, including, for women, safety issues. Why is that? Well, you're in a shared place. You can't really control who else is there. Also, like many things in life, business hours tend to be busier. So for women, going after hours tends to be less safe. Not unsafe, but less safe. So you have to be really thoughtful about these types of things. So in conclusion, understand that the charge up time is much lengthier. Yes, over the course of time, it'll go down, it'll be better. And make sure when you buy an EV, you understand the logistics of charging. Okay, what is the level you can charge at? What is the ability of your EV power to produce? How do these different things work? And again, to come full circle, one of the things that a lot of people look to is they say, look, until I have an EV charger at my home, I really don't want to get involved in this process. EV chargers are readily available. But again, even if you're talking about long range travel, and of course, this is one of the problems with the EV. If you're going to be traveling cross country, you want to stop to charge up. It's not like the gas station. You're not going to be able to just pull in, top off your tank while you're filling up. You go and get a cup of coffee and it's ready to go. Totally different. So keep these things in mind, because right now EVs tend to work if you're going to be driving within a fixed location. It's one reason why EVs tend to work a lot better for buses and dump trucks and things like that, where you're collecting garbage in a fixed area. Anyway, I hope this presentation has helped you. I'm Ralph Cantafio, Cantafio Song, Denver, Colorado. As always, if you have questions, you can call me at 970-819-2371, or you can shoot me an email. Anyway, I hope you gained some value out of this presentation. Thanks.